Descriptive adjectives in Spanish describe qualities, states, physical traits, and personality. Most of the time, they're placed after the noun that they describe, but they all must agree in gender and number, whether it's masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. We can begin with gender agreement using the endings of adjectives, which typically follow the same pattern as nouns. Alto, alta, tall, pequeño, pequeña, small, bonito, bonita, pretty. In a sentence, the adjectives match the gender and number of the noun. El chico, alto. La chica, alta. The O becomes A. Additionally, number agreement is also vital, where adjectives match singular and plural nouns. Alto, alta, interesante, altos, altas, interesantes. El libro, interesante. Los libros, interesantes. At this point, it's important to point out that some adjectives may come before the noun, specifically when expressing quantity, emphasis, or opinion. In this case, it's best to remember the most common adjectives that can be placed before nouns, and some will change form. Bueno, malo, grande, pequeño, primer, primero, tercer, tercero, último, mucho, poco, alguno, ninguno. Such adjectives show subjective emphasis, so they express emotional emphasis about a speaker's opinion, like in the following phrases. Un buen amigo. Una gran ciudad. El primer día. Muchos libros. Once again, such adjectives can change meaning, depending on whether they're put before or after the noun. This is a subtle but important feature in Spanish. Even so, some adjectives are shortened before masculine singular nouns, like buen, mal, primer, tercer, gran. Buen amigo, mal día, primer día, tercer piso, gran ciudad. At the same time, such adjectives appear before the noun because the quality is already expected, like la blanca nieve, las altas montañas. Snow is already white, and mountains are usually high, so placing the adjective first adds a poetic tone, which is very common in literature. In the end, what distinguishes the adjectives is the meaning that they generate. Some adjectives change meaning depending on position. Mi antiguo profesor. Un edificio antiguo. Un pobre hombre. Un hombre pobre. Una gran ciudad. Una ciudad grande. In these sentences, the adjectives before the noun express evaluation and not physical description. Moreover, some adjectives will not change gender because their form works for masculine and feminine nouns. These adjectives often end in e, ista, and elle. Inteligente, interesante, ideal, optimista. El estudiante inteligente. La estudiante inteligente. When it comes to adjectives that are colors, these typically go after the noun. La camisa roja. El coche azul. Los ojos verdes. Some colors do not change gender, like rosa, naranja, violeta. La camisa rosa. El coche rosa. So, this is how descriptive adjectives fully work in Spanish. A simple rule to know is the position of adjectives. After the noun results in a literal description, but before the noun creates emotion, evaluation, and emphasis. It also explains why Spanish literature puts adjectives before nouns, for stylistic reasons. For native speakers, adjective position often depends on emphasis and nuance, rather than strict rules, so while the concept is extensive, it's very useful to know.